What is up, you guys? It is your boy Keep It Real, and I'm gonna start this video with a lot of us that grew up back in the 2010, 2010 era are feeling this right now. Even if you didn't grow up then, I know you're feeling it. So Volition, if you did not know, Volition are the people behind the Saints Row series. The Saints Row series has been going on for decades. One, two, three, four, and the reboot got out of hell as well. And due to that god awful Saints Row release, Volition has been closed. After being there for decades, not 3 years, not 4 years, not the past 10 years, for decades, for multiple decades, they've been around, making games to compete with Rockstar. Okay, at one point, this the Saints Row series was one of the most revered on the consoles and PC even because it was so much more different than GTA 5 and offered such a great experience. So on Twitter, Volition posted, September 1st, 2023, basically a letter of resignation for the studio. I'm not going to go through all of it, but let's just read a little bit of it. To start, we know there wouldn't be a studio without the people in it. While it may sound cliche, as those who have worked at Volition can attest, it is truly a huge family. Volition started with a team that had a vision for how to make the kind of games others couldn't, and infused that confidence throughout the entire company. We assembled an incredibly talented group of artists, storytellers, and creators who together built a culture that attracted the top quality people who truly cared for each other. Time progressed, people naturally came and went, and very often returned again. But the people were always what made Volition truly special. Do all developers feel the same? We know they do. But in this case, there truly was a unique culture of people that cared about each other like family, combined with the will to create some of the most unique games ever created. Thank you so much to every Volitionite who has ever worked here. You are all what made this magical place it was to work at, and we can never say enough about how much you have meant to us over these 30 years. Are you kidding me? This is a bummer to me. Not only was I so excited for this god awful game, and then got a god awful game, Volition is now closing, so this is how they go out. They go out with a wet fart. Saints Row, I bet it's not even Volition's fault. And I don't want to just assume, but I don't think they had a reason to have this crew. If it was up to them, we probably would have got again. You know what I'm saying? If it was up to them. So this is just going on again after 30 years. Volition is closing its doors. So I'm not gonna go into it because, hey, we just heard that they're closing from the man themselves. Founded in June 1993. This is what I'm referring to, guys. They've been in the game for 3 decades. 30 years. And this is all they have. This is what people will remember them for. That is disheartening. The people that owned them didn't think, "Oh, let's give them another shot." Deep Silver didn't say, "Oh, let's give them one more chance." They said, "Nah, this game sucked. You're out." So, a little bit of controversy and theories have been arising, and that's that Saints Row was originally going to be a completely different tone until Deep Silver got involved. Let's read here. YouTuber Flippy claims that Volition had originally planned for the story of in Saints Row 2022 to be more like a Saints Row 2.5 in tone. But publisher Deep Silver intervened and said that it would not be a commercial success. Instead, they steered the game in a different direction by insisting on having a game take on a more upbeat tone with a storyline involving a group of friends. Yawn. Every game does that. Deep Silver, I don't even care if you never see this video. You guys, if you guys really just sat there and did that to them, You guys are absolute garbage at your jobs. Nobody cared about the new characters. Nobody. Those new characters were absolute trash. And the upbeat tone doesn't mean what you guys delivered. I'm sorry. That was not an upbeat tone. That left people dead. That left people not wanting to touch the games ever again. That's not upbeat, that is boredom. You guys think that upbeat is just being corny. No. Upbeat just means having a cool car in the game or having secret items in the game that make the game feel completely different. Look, even though people hated on Saints Row 4, it didn't close down Volition because it was still a Saints Row game at its core. But dude, they steered away from what made them so good that this is what happened. Saints Row reboot must sell 2 million copies to break even. They I don't think they sold that at all. Considering that Saints Row is well marketed, has relatively low competition on the market right now, and that the IP is strong, we think that the prospect for at least 2 million copies are good. This is just depressing, guys. And then you go right here. Look at this 2.3. Let's look at the PC. 65 Metacritic score with 25 critic reviews and 2.5 with 461. Already telling you that people are not playing the game. Let's see PS5. 1017 ratings, 2.9, 61 Metacritic score. Xbox Series X, 65 Metacritic, 210 ratings. This just goes to show you that the game, to begin with, didn't even sell close to 2 million copies. It didn't. It didn't sell anywhere near to that they needed. It cost them so much to make this trash game that it closed down the studio. And I'll get to it after I'm finished talking about Volition. Let's look at the Steam mixed review, 61%. So it's not like everybody hated it. At least half of them. But the game just didn't provide what people wanted. It just didn't provide that old Saints Row feel with the new graphics and a new location. That's all they needed to do. You could have made it about Gat. And that's it. That's what I just get, I just get saddened to see that they have such a good IP and they choose to do this. And so many companies do this. This is not the only one. Look at the all-time peak, guys. 4,147 on Steam. And the player count has just declined. Decline, all the way down. All-time peak on Twitch, 76,000. 31, this is not even close to 2 million, guys. This is not even close to 2 million. All-time peak was 10 days ago. So, after talking about Volition, I don't want to harp on them too long because I completely understand. They became financially negative. Companies are putting in, even movies, are putting in so much money to fund things that they think we'll like, so they stay so close to the original, but then they change everything that made it original, and they expect us to like it the same way we like the original release. It happened with Indiana Jones. It happened with a few TV series, even what Marvel does now. They release classics, Disney. They release classics with nothing classic about it. And then they expect us to like it as if it's the classic, but it's not. They don't provide on what they're planning to deliver, and then they fall short, and then they die. This is not the only gaming company to close this past 2 years because of a failure. What happened with the Lord of the Rings Gollum? Daedalus had to close that part of its studio entirely and scrap the next Lord of the Rings game. Because Gollum was so bad. Look, and I still believe that Saints Row, the reboot, was a little bit better than Gollum. But it still failed. And now these companies are just sitting here, closing its doors because they have put in so much more money to fund these games, and we do not buy just random stuff like we used to. We have all these news outlets that we can just take a look at and know if a game is worth purchasing. It is not the early 2000s. Deep Silver, Activision, Ubisoft. It is not the early 2000s. If you release a bad game and that's what gets pressed, people will refund it, people will never play it, and that's just how it goes. So instead of releasing things that make absolutely no sense, like the Saints Row reboot, which is a complete spit in the face to say Saints Row reboot and then not have anything of the original Saints Row, it's just kind of a smack in the face. Nobody cares about that. If you're going to release a classic, guys. I don't really have much more to say except I am saddened by the fact that companies feel the need to release games at subpar quality, change the stories entirely, change what everybody loved, and then are still mad at us for not enjoying the game. Companies don't want to make originals anymore because it might cost them, it might lose them more money. Gaming companies are not run by gamers, they are run by business people now. The time of gamers has been extinct for years, and that's why we see so many bad practices going on. Gaming is one of the most proprietary sectors of entertainment. Gaming makes the most money out of everything in this day and age. So I hope you guys feel the same way. I am sad that Saints Row will be no longer. Maybe they do something and bring it back, but I remember that hype of seeing Saints Row and then being completely let down by that first trailer where they showed the new squad. Saints Row could have literally just been plastered on the desert screen and I would have gone crazy. But because they showed the cast, it immediately dropped my interest down. This is where these companies are failing. Like I said, I'm just a little upset, man. This is a game that I've been playing since I was able to pick up a controller. Saints Row and Saints Row 2, or Saints Row 2 specifically, was one of my favorite games growing up. And now look at what they've come to. 2023, and a company that brought so many good memories to people growing up is now closing because of monetary greed. With all that being said, guys, remember leave a like and subscribe and keep your guys' eyes out. If you guys enjoy Starfield or the One Piece live action, please let me know. Keep it real. Out.